Hi friends, my name is Kayla and today I'm going to be sharing my TBR for the month of February. In the United States, we celebrate Black History Month in February, so this month I wanted to really focus on reading books by Black authors, and it also just happens that all of the books I've chosen are also by female Black authors, so I will be participating in Femmuary as well, and this is the TBR that I am hoping to stick to, and the books that I really want to prioritize from my own collection just to be able to celebrate Black History Month and maybe share some recommendations with y'all if you are also looking to read more books by Black women. My first book is This Side of Home by Renee Watson. This is a YA contemporary that follows twins Nikki and Maya. This book explores culture, identity, and the gentrification of the main character's African American neighborhood. While one twin is very excited about these changes, the other twin is not sure about that, and it explores her feelings around everything going on in her neighborhood. This also tests her relationship with her sister and her identity and her culture in general. I think this is going to be a really interesting contemporary. I'm definitely very thankful that my friend Trina over at Between Chapters sent this over for me to read. I had anticipated reading this during the booktubeathon, but that was just a really intense week for me work-wise and I wasn't able to read as much as I wanted. So I will be making this my #1 priority this month because I really do want to read this book. The next book is Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson. This is a YA contemporary that follows a main character named Jade who thinks she has to get out of her neighborhood in order to succeed. In order to do this, she goes to a mostly white private school where she is on scholarship. She attends weekend test preps to kind of prep herself for test and college down the road, and she also goes to a group that is for at-risk girls from bad neighborhoods. This book is said to explore race and privilege and the idea of at-risk youth and minority groups, and how some organizations can target those groups to help but end up being demoralizing and demeaning. I'm very interested to see the different takes in this novel. As a social worker, I think it's really important to understand how your organizations can be helpful for communities, but at the same time how they can be better for the communities that you work for, making sure that they are uplifting, that they're appropriate, and that they aren't harmful, and I think that this book is really going to explore that. The next book that I have is Little and Lion by Brandy Colbert. This is another YA contemporary and it follows a main character named Suzette who is coming home from her New England boarding school to LA to kind of help support her stepbrother who is recently diagnosed with bipolar disorder. While she is home, she discovers that she has feelings for the same person that her brother has a crush on, and the book just ensues from there. I don't typically love a love triangle. I think that they can be poorly done most of the time with a very obvious choice and there isn't a lot of tension there, but I think that this book will be different and I'm very intrigued to see how that plays out. The next book I have is American Street by Zoboi. This is a YA magical realism book and it follows a main character named Fabiola who has recently immigrated from Haiti to the United States. However, when she gets to the airport, her mother is detained by US immigration and she is left to navigate Detroit on her own with her American family and kind of figure out school and relationships without the help of her mother. This is actually a book that has been very critically acclaimed and has been nominated for awards, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. I'm excited to jump into it, and it has been a while since I've read a magical realism, so I'm very excited that this is going to kind of break up the YA contemporary that I'm really going to be reaching for in February. Next, I will be picking up Stella at Starlight by Sharon and Draper. This is an audiobook that I own, and it is a middle grade historical fiction that follows a main character named Stella in the segregated South during the Depression. This book follows Stella as she faces racism in her segregated town when the KKK moves in and starts to do some really terrible things. I think this book is going to be very difficult to listen to and very heartbreaking, but I think that it is going to reflect history in a realistic sense and also reflect how we're seeing some of that glaring racism today in American society. And I think it's always important to read books that remind us of our past and how we can come forward from that, and also look at how the past is repeating itself, and I think that this book is going to be very interesting for that concept in general. And finally, I'm going to be picking up Outsiders by Tammy Ferebee. This is an indie published YA novel that I think could also be considered new adult in some ways, and this book was actually sent to me by the author. It is the sequel to Outsiders, the first book. It follows our main character Jayla in the aftermath of book 1, which left off on a little bit of a cliffhanger, so I'm very curious to see where the storyline goes. That has been it for today's video. I definitely like to reach for books by Black authors throughout the year, but I really wanted to make it a priority and a focus for February. It is Black History Month in the United States, and I would like to celebrate that. I would like to be able to review Black authors and hopefully put some books out there that maybe y'all haven't heard of, and hopefully you can join in on this celebration this February. I will leave links in the down bar below for my other social media sites such as Goodreads, Instagram, and Twitter, and y'all should totally check me out on there. As always, thank you so much for watching. Stay weird.